Christy? Good. I ordered the stuff from Target. It'll be here when you come back to drop off the car. It won't be delivered by 10 a.m. before you leave. But when you come back to drop off your car, it'll be here for you.
I was thinking.
Yeah?
I would just drive.
Well, then pass by here and pick up your stuff. It's not on the way?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, then you'll get it on the weekend. I'll save it for you. Hey, guys. Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. How's everyone feeling? Are we all good? Yes, Grandma's here. It's true. She has the baby. It's true, it's true. Oh no, Shawnee, what ended up happening? You never told us last night, which I totally understand why you wouldn't, but what ended up happening? Hey Priscilla, hey Jen. Lauren, why? Why? I need this coffee desperately. Hey Anya. Good morning. Morning, Marigold. It's very bright over here right now. Very bright. All right, let's get some coffee made, and then we will read our book. All right, why are you not making the coffee? Hey, Sloth. Ah. I have to tell you, the baby actually slept in 3-hour stretches last night. I feel so rested comparatively. I was admitted I might need strep for the 4th time. Oh my gosh, did they tell you any reason why you might get it so many times in 1 year? You have Starbucks coffee? Is that the cause of the mental breakdown, or is that the fix? Could be both, depending on who you are. It's just alright. Yeah. That's why I make coffee at home. My coffee at home is pretty phenomenal. My sister says it tastes like it was made with love, and I agree. It tastes like it was made with love. Yeah. It's true. Not me wondering automatically if you were making slime and not coffee. Oh no, definitely making coffee. Definitely making coffee. It is delightful. I need my coffee to get through the day. Oh, I ate a lot of coffee slimes, Lauren, lots and lots. One of the most popular slimes from the December restock was a coffee slime. You aren't sure, I might need my tonsils out. Oh, that is true, you might need your tonsils out. 2 months, my son started sleeping through the night, was the best. Yeah, she's getting closer and closer every day, Susan, you're right. Coffee does make the world a better place. It makes me a better person. It's true. Makes me a better person. How are we doing? It is a great slime, and I want to make it again, Jen. I really do. I think I'll get some coffee after this trip to the a trip to the ER. You too? What is in the water? Everyone's headed to the ER this week. Liz had to go yesterday. Shawnee had to go yesterday. Now you have to go. What is happening, you guys? Oh my gosh. It's crazy up in here. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is helping her sleep the fattier it is, Christy. I think you're totally right. Roxy's not in the ER, thankfully. But, too many people are, if you ask me. Too many people are in the ER. What's with all the ER these days? I don't blame you for being scared, Shawnee. Hopefully it's an easy recovery this time. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Naisa. Okay. But that's okay, because more will be acquired. It's not a trend anyone needs to start. No, it's not. No, it's not. have thought it would be due to bone infection again. You got another bone infection? Or you're saying you thought you were going to? No idea what triggered it though. He's feeling well. It's better now. Oh. Well, better is better. You're drinking your coffee as well? Yes, yes, yes. I'm just filling up the dishwasher while I wait for my coffee to finish. Might as well be productive while I stand here, you know? Because did you post last night's live? It is uploading currently. Yeah, it's not uploaded yet, but it takes a minute because it's such a long video. It's over an hour, you know? I thought when you have them already, you're a higher risk. Oh, yeah. No, I can imagine that you would be. Morning, Avery. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, lately I've been just uploading every live so that anyone who misses it can see it. I feel like that's the right way to go about it. Come on, little frother. There we go. Let's go. Let's make some coffee. Oh, yummy. Perfect. Are we okay? Oh, okay. You just wanted to walk around? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do book club. Let's read this book. Let us sit down. Let us put coffee on the coaster. Let us... Everyone says hi, by the way. Mom, book club says hi. I have not, Shawnee. I'm not gonna lie, Shawnee. I probably won't be able to go for at least another month, but my mom will be back down near the P.O. box this coming weekend, and if there's anything there, she'll grab it for me, right? Yeah, not that, it's something else. It's really far for me to drive, but we will be going to look at houses down there in the next coming months, so we'll be going at that time, you know. She's gonna have her own room, that's right. Little Miss will have her own room. It's very exciting. Yeah, it's just too far for me to go frequently with a baby. You know, to drive all that way with her seems crazy pants. She is not a fan of the car. I know that a lot of babies like the car. Our baby does not love the car. Sort of, Becca, I'll show you. Yes and no all at the same time. But I'll show you later. But yeah. Do we get to see, I think Grandma does not want to be seen in the state she's in because she's still currently in, well, she's in two things. She's in her pajamas, but she's also in my Galinda onesie, or my Galinda Snuggie, you guys. Anyone who knows about the Galinda Snuggie. But she had surgery, so she's not feeling up to being on camera because she had eye surgery.
I feel up, I don't look up.
Yeah, she doesn't think she looks up to being on camera, which is totally fine. We respect everyone. You know, secret husband never goes on camera. Secret baby never goes on camera, so it's okay. Mom doesn't have. We will respect her vanity, as she says. Yes, she had eye surgery yesterday. She's doing very well, so it's all good, but she does not want to be on camera as a result. Although that being said, she is quite good on camera regularly. So far, so good, Roxy. It feels like she's healing really well. You feel like you're healing really well, right? You said you can see better already, right?
Yeah.
She had a cataract.
He was a specialist. He wasn't a regular eye doctor.
No.
He was a specialist of an eye doctor.
Yeah, eye specialist. Yeah. So, baby is currently sleeping on her, you know. She's cold. Out like a light. Little Miss Jasmine is sleeping completely. She looks like she's a rag doll, which is good because that means she's completely asleep. Like when they go floppy, you know? All right. You can sit down so you can be comfy.
I want her to be, in REM sleep.
Oh, yeah. No, she will, even if you sit down. I was sitting with her and she was, so you can relax. You don't have to stand. Okay. Here we go. So... I wish you guys could see the ridiculousness of the way she just sat down. That's funny. Yes, sleeping baby on you makes life feel better. It is true. No, she didn't wake up. She's just wiggly. She's not awake. There's a difference between wiggly and awake. All right. Hey, Brittany, how's it going? Oh yeah, this was a present from Secret Husband for Christmas. Yes, he got me this sweatshirt for Christmas, and I like it. It's very nice. All right, here we go. Monday, January 12th, Royal Daily Schedule, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m., Royal Genovian Symphony. Just when it seems like maybe, like just maybe, things might be starting to go my way, something always has to come along and ruin it. I guess she could tell. It was Gramnir, as usual. I was so sleepy again today, and she knew that I'd been up all night talking to Michael. So this morning, between my ride with the Equestrian Society and my meeting with the Genovian Beachfront Development Society, Gramnir sat me down and she gave me a lecture. This time it wasn't about the socially acceptable gifts to give a boy on his birthday. Instead, it was about appropriate choices. Well, it's all very well and good, Amelia, Gramnir said, for you to like that boy. Yeah, I think so, I cried with righteous indignation, considering if you've never even met him. I mean, do you even know anything about Michael anyway? No, you don't. Nothing. Gramnir just gave me the evil eye then. Nevertheless, she went on, I do not think it wise of you to allow your affection for this Michael fellow to blind you to other suitable, more available consorts, such as, well, I tried to interrupt to tell Gramnir that if she said the words Prince William, I was going to jump off the Pont des Vergers. Gramnir told me not to be more ridiculous than I already am, that I could never marry Prince William anyway on account of him being the church, account of his being Church of England. However, there are apparently other, infinitely more suitable romantic partners for a princess of a royal house of Ronaldo than Michael, and Gramnir said that she would hate for me to miss the opportunity to get to know these other young men just because I fancy myself in love with Michael. She assured me that if the circumstances were reversed and Michael were the heir to a throne and a considerable fortune, she highly doubted that he would be as scrupulously faithful as I was being. Well, I objected to this assessment of Michael's character very much, and I informed Gramnir that if she had ever bothered to get to know Michael, that she would have realized that in every aspect of his life, from being the editor-in-chief of a now-defunct crackhead to the role as treasurer of the computer club, he has shown nothing but the utmost loyalty and integrity. And I also explained, as patiently as I possibly could, that it hurt me to hear her saying anything negative about the man to whom I have pledged my heart. Well, that's just it, Amelia. Sorry, that's not the right voice, is it? She's British. In every job that must... That's just it, Amelia, Gramnir said, rolling her scary eyes. You're entirely too young to pledge your heart to anyone, and I think it very unwise of you at the age of 14 to decide who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, unless, of course, it happens to be someone very, very special, someone your father and I know, someone very, very, well, someone who, well, possibly seeming a bit immature and probably just maybe needs the right woman to make him settle down. Girls mature much more quickly than men, Amelia. I interrupted Gramnir to inform her that I will be 15 in 4 months, and also that Juliet was 14 when she married Romeo, to which Gramnir replied, and that relationship turned out very nicely, didn't it, Amelia? Gramnir clearly has never been in love. Furthermore, she has no appreciation whatsoever for romantic tragedy. Well, in any case, Gramnir added, if you hoped to keep that boy, you're going about it all wrong. I thought it was very unsupportive of Gramnir to be suggesting that I, after only having a real boyfriend for 25 days, during which the time I spoke to him exactly 3 times on the phone, and that I was already in danger of losing him to someone with multicolored eyes, and she said so out loud. Well, I'm sorry, Amelia, Gramnir said, but I can't say you know what you're about if it's true that you actually want to keep this young man. I swear, I don't even know what came over me in that moment, but it was like all the pressure that had been building up, the parking meters, missing Michael, my mom, Fat Louie, and everything I was going to say to Prince William, my zit that keeps coming in too much, and I heard myself spewing, of course I want to keep him, but how am I going to be able to do that if I'm entirely unself-actualized, talentless, breastless, un-Kate Bosworth-like, and a princess freak? Gramnir looked kind of surprised at my outburst. She didn't seem to know which issue to address first, my talentless or breastlessness, or finally she said, well, you could start by not staying on the phone with him until all hours of the night. You do not give him any reason to doubt your affection. Of course I don't, I said, horrified. Why would I give him any reason to doubt my affection? I love him. But you mustn't let him know that. Grandmere already looked ready to throw her mid-morning sidecar at me. Are you completely dense, Amelia? Never let a man be sure of your affections for him. You did a very good job at first with this business of forgetting his birthday, but now you're ruining everything with your calling him all the time. If that boy realizes how you really feel, he'll stop trying to please you. But, Grandmere, I was confused. You married Grandpa, and surely he figured out you loved him if you went ahead and married him. Grandpere, Mia, please, not this vulgar grandpa you Americans insist upon. Grandmere sniffed and looked insulted. Your grandfather most certainly did not figure out my feelings for him. I made it quite certain he thought I was only marrying him for his money and title, and I don't think I need to point out to you that we had 40 blissful years together, and without separate bedrooms, she added with some malice, unlike some royal couples I could mention. Wait a minute, I stared at her. For 40 years you slept in the same bed as Grandpere, but you never once told him that you love him? Grandmere drained what was left of her sidecar and laid an affectionate hand on top of Romel's head. Since returning to Genovia and being diagnosed with OCD, most of Romel's fur has started to grow back thanks to the plastic cone around his head. White fuzz has started to come in all over him, kind of like the baby down on a chicken. But it didn't make him look any less repulsive to me. That, Grandmere said, is precisely what I'm telling you. I kept your grandfather on his toes, and he loved every minute of it. If you want to keep this Michael fellow, I suggest that you do the same thing. Stop this business of calling him every night. Stop the business of not looking at other boys. And stop obsessing over what you're going to get him for his birthday. He should be the one obsessing over what he's going to buy you to keep your interest, not the other way around. Me? But my birthday isn't even until May. I didn't want to tell her that I'd already figured out what I was going to get Michael. I didn't want to tell her that because I sort of snitched it out the back of the Palais de Genovia Museum. Well, nobody was using what I got him anyway, so I don't see why I can't take it. I'm the Princess of Genovia, after all. I own everything in that museum anyway, don't I? Or at least the royal family does. Who says that a man should give woman gifts only on her birthday? Grandmere was looking at me like she pretty much despaired of me as Homo sapien. She held up her wrist. Dripping from it was a bracelet that Grandmere wears a lot, one with diamonds as big as Euro 1-cent pieces hanging off of it. I got this from your grandfather on March 5th, 40 years or so ago. Why? March 5th is not my birthday, nor is it any kind of holiday. Your grandfather gave it to me on a day merely because he thought that the bracelet, like me, was exquisite. She lowered her hand back down to Romel's head at that. That, Amelia, is how a man ought to treat the woman that he loves. All I could think about was poor Grandpere. He couldn't have had any idea what he was getting himself into when it came to Grandmere, who'd been total babe back when she was younger before she'd gotten the tattooed eyeliner and shaved off her eyebrows. I'm sure Gramps just took one look at her across the dance floor where they met back then when he was just the dashing heir to a throne, and she was a pert young debutante, and he froze like a graffiti artist caught in a cop car's headlights, never suspecting what lay ahead of him. Years of subtle mind games and sidecar shaking. I don't think I can be like that, Grandmere, I said. I mean, I don't want Michael to give me diamonds. I just want him to ask me to the prom. I love how you can change your accents as you're reading. Oh, thank you. That's sweet. That's kind of the whole thing, right? That's what we do here. Well, he won't do it, Grandmere said, if he doesn't think there's a possibility that you're entertaining affections from other boys. Grandmere, I was shocked. I would never go to prom with literally anyone except Michael. Not like there was a big chance of anyone else asking me either, but I felt like that was beside the point. But you must never let him know that, Amelia, Grandmere said severely. You must keep him always in doubt of your feelings, always on his toes. Men enjoy the hunt, you see. Once they've taken their quarry, they tend to lose all interest. Here, this is for you to read. I will believe it will equally illustrate my point. Grandmere had drawn out a book from her Gucci handbag and handed it to me. I looked down at it incredulously. I'm sorry, Jane Eyre? I couldn't believe it. Grandmere, I saw the movie, and no offense, but this is way boring. Movie?
Grammer said with a sniff. Read that book, Amelia, and see if it doesn't teach you a thing or two about how men and women can relate to one another. Grammer, I said, not sure how to break it to her that was way behind the times. I think that people who want to know how men and women relate to one another are currently reading Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Read it! Grammer yelled so loudly that she scared Rommel off of her lap, and he slunk off to cower behind a potted geranium. I swear, I don't know what I did to deserve a grandmother like mine. Lily's grandma totally worships Lily's boyfriend, Boris Pulowski. She's always sending him Tupperware tubs of Grepplosh and all sorts of stuff like that. I don't know why I have to get a grandmother who's trying to get me to break up with the only guy I've ever been in love with and only been dating for 25 days. 7 days, 6 hours, and 42 minutes until I see him again. Tuesday, January 13th. Royal Daily Schedule. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Breakfast with the members of the Royal Genovian Shakespeare Society. Jane Eyre, very boring so far, nothing but orphanages, bad haircuts, and a whole lot of coughing. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Session of Genovian Parliament. Jane Eyre's looking up. She's gotten a job as a governess in a house of a really rich guy named Mr. Rochester. Mr. Rochester is the bossy, kind of like Wolverine, or maybe a little bit like Michael. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tea with Granmere and wife of the Prime Minister of England. Mr. Rochester is a total hottie. He's going on my list of totally hot guys between Hugh Jackman and that Croatian dude from ER. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Formal state dinner with the Prime Minister of England and his family. Jane Eyre is a total idiot. It was not Mr. Rochester's fault. Why is she being so mean to him? And Granmere shouldn't yell at me for reading books at the table. She's the one who gave me the book in the first place. 6 days, 11 hours, and 29 minutes until I see Michael again. I couldn't even stand to finish the first. Oh, really? Oh, I love Jane Eyre. I'm a big fan of that era, though. That's like my era that I studied in school. So that and Shakespeare are my two favorite sets of books. What's the matter, Mom? Why are you sitting like that? She's comfortable, so you have to be uncomfortable?
I have to tell you that your grandmother had the same attitude as this grandma.
Oh, really?
She said, always make sure the guy's more in love with you than you are with
But that's not even what she's saying. She's saying pretend that you're seeing other people. It's not fair. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah. But
That's not
she
right.
was saying he should think you're exquisite. You should.
Well, my grandmother was exquisite. Everyone should think my grandmother was exquisite. She was the most exquisite. My mom and I yesterday had a fake fight over whose grandma was better, my grandma or her grandma.
Well, your grandma was beautiful. My
Yes.
grandmother wasn't.
Mean. Your grandmother was lovely.
She was pretty, but she wasn't beautiful like your grandma.
Yes, my grandmother was absolutely stunning. It's true. Until her dying day, the most lovely. Wednesday, January 14th, 3 a.m., the Royal Genovian Bedchamber. Okay, I guess I understood what Granmere was getting at with this book, but seriously, that whole part where Mrs. Fairfax warns Jane not to get too chummy with Mr. Rochester before the wedding was just like because back in those days there was still no birth control. Still, I may have to consult with Lily on this. I'm pretty sure it's unwise to pattern one's behavior after the advice of a fictional character, especially one from a book that was written in 1846. However, I do generally get the gist of Mrs. Fairfax's warning, which was this: don't chase boys. Chasing boys is bad. Chasing boys can lead to horrible things like a mansion going up in flames, hand amputations, and blindness. Have some self-respect and don't let things go too far before the wedding day. Okay, I get this. I so get this. But what is Michael going to think if I just stop calling him? I mean, he might think that I don't like him anymore. And it isn't like I've got much going on for me in the first place. I mean, as a girlfriend, I pretty much suck. I'm not good at anything. I can't remember people's birthdays. And by the way, I'm a princess. I guess that is Granmere's point. I guess you're supposed to keep boys on their toes in this way, but I don't know. It just seemed to work with Granpere and for Jane in the end, I guess. I mean, maybe I could give it a try. But it won't be easy. It's 9 o'clock at night in Florida right now, so who knows what Michael's doing. He could have gone down to the beach for a stroll and met some beautiful homeless musician girl and given her a walk on the boardwalk, making a living off of the tourists for whom she plays wryly observant folk songs on her Stratocaster. I can't even play tennis, let alone some kind of instrument. I bet she's wearing fringy things and she's all busty and snaggle-toothed like Jewel. No boy could ever be expected to just walk on by when a girl like that is standing right there. No, Granmere and Mrs. Fairfax are right. I've got to resist. I have to resist the urge to call him. When you're less available, it drives men wild, just like in Jane Eyre. I think changing my name and running away to live with distant relatives like Jane did might be going a bit too far, as appealing as that does seem. Yeah, 5 days, 7 hours, and 25 minutes until I see Michael again. Wednesday, January 14th, Royal Daily Schedule, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Breakfast with the Royal Genovian Society of Medicine. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. This is the last time that I stay up half the night reading 19th century literature. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Session of Genovian Royal Parliament. Filibuster by Minister of Finance. He says that Genovia will have parking meters or perish. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Session of Genovian Parliament. Filibuster ongoing still. I would like to slip out for an Orangina, but I'm afraid that this would look unsupportive of the cause. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Session of Genovian Royal Parliament. I can't take it anymore. The filibuster's too boring. Plus, Rene just poked his head in and he smirked at me. Let him laugh. He won't have to rule a country someday. Thursday, January 15th. State dinner in neighboring Monaco. Grandmere finally noticed my zit. I guess the idea of meeting Prince William with a giant zit on my chin was too much for her, since she completely flipped out about it. I told her I had the situation under control, but Grandmere clearly does not put as much faith in toothpaste as complexion aid as I do. She sent for the royal dermatologist and he injected my chin with something, and then he said not to put any more toothpaste on my face. I can't even handle a zit right. How am I ever going to rule a country? Things to do before leaving Genovia. Number 1, find a safe place to put Michael's present where it will not be found by my grandmother or nosy ladies in waiting while packing my stuff inside of, maybe I should put it inside the toe of a combat boot. Number 2, say goodbye to the kitchen staff and thank them for all the vegetarian fare. Number 3, make sure the harbor master has hung a pair of scissors off of every buoy in the port for use of yachting tourists who didn't bring along their own scissors to snap those 6-pack holders before they go into the water. Number 4, take funny nose and glasses off the statue of Grandmere in the portrait hall before she notices that I put it there. Number 5, practice my meeting Prince William speech and also the goodbye Prince Rene speech. Number 6, break Francois' record of 20 feet and 7-inch sock sliding across the crystal hallway. Number 7, let all the doves in the palace dovecote go. If they want to come back, that's fine, but they should have the option to be free. Number 8, let Tante Jean-Marie know that this is the 21st century and that women no longer have to have the stigma of no longer have to live with the stigma of dark facial hair, and leave her my Jolene. That must have been something that was like...
Oh, it was horrible. It was a bleach, and it bleached the hair like if you had a mustache.
Yeah.
But it also destroyed the color of your skin.
Oh.
So it made you have dark and white patches. It was the worst. It's the worst. Never use it.
Well, she's only 14. She doesn't know any better.
No, I mean, tell your audience.
Yeah, I don't think... Is it even still made? This book is from like 2002.
No, I've seen it
Okay,
in
don't
stores.
use Jolene, you guys. Mom says don't do it. It will discolor your skin.
Yeah. It bleaches your hair, but it discolors your skin.
Okay, don't do that. Number 9, slip Minister of Finance the details on the parking meter manufacturers that I got off the internet. Number 10, get my scepter back from Prince Rene. It is still out there. Oh, okay. Well, you don't need it. Don't get it. Friday, January 16th, 11 p.m., Royal Genovian Bedchamber. Tina spent all day yesterday reading Jane Eyre per my recommendation, and she agrees with me that there might be something to this whole letting boys chase you as opposed to chasing them thing. So she's decided not to email or call Dave unless he emails or calls first, of course. Lily, however, refuses to take part in this scheme, and she says that game playing is for children and that her relationship with Boris is one that cannot be qualified by modern-day psychosexual mating practices. And according to Tina, I can't call Lily because Michael might pick up the phone and then he'll think that I'm chasing him. Lily says that Jane Eyre was one of the first feminist manifestos, and she heartily approves of us using it as a model for our romantic relationships, although she sent a warning to me through Tina that I shouldn't expect Michael to ask me to marry him until after he's at least gotten one postgraduate degree, as well as a starting position with a company that pays at least $200,000 per year plus annual performance bonuses. Lily also added that the one time she saw him ride a horse, Michael looked way unromantic, so I shouldn't be getting my hopes up that he's going to be like jumping any saddles like Mr. Rochester did anytime soon. But I find this hard to believe. I'm pretty sure that Michael would look very handsome on a horse. Tina mentioned that Lily is still upset about the movie of my life that they showed the other day. Tina saw it though, and she said it wasn't as bad as Lily's making it out to be. She said the lady who played Principal Gupta was totally hilarious. But Tina wasn't in the movie at all on account of her dad having found out about it beforehand and threatening the filmmakers with a lawsuit if they mentioned his daughter's name totally anywhere. Mr. Hakim Baba worries a lot about Tina getting kidnapped by rival oil sheiks. So Tina said that she wouldn't mind being kidnapped though if the rival oil sheik was cute and willing to commit to a long-term relationship and remember to buy her one of those diamond heart pendants from K Jewelers on Valentine's Day. Well, Tina says the girl who played Lana Weinberger in the movie did a fabulous job and she should totally get an Emmy. And also, she did think that Lana wasn't going to be too happy about how she was portrayed as like a jealous princess wannabe. Also, the guy who played Josh was a total babe and Tina's trying to find his email address for us. Tina and I vowed that if either of us ever felt like calling our boyfriends, instead we would totally call each other. Unfortunately, I have no cell phone, so it's not like Tina would be able to reach me if I'm in the middle of knighting someone or anything like that, but I'm fully totally gonna hit up my dad for a Motorola tomorrow. Hey, I'm the heir to the sovereign nation of an entire country, and at the very least, I should have a beeper. Note to self, look up the word style. 4 days, 12 hours, and 5 minutes until I see Michael again.
Yes, I guess that puts a rest to why Tina wasn't in it. And it also means that Meg loves Sandra Oh and also Mandy Moore, because those are the two actresses that she mentioned without mentioning them. I also think they were fantastic. We already know that Meg Cabot loves Anne Hathaway, so that goes without saying. Saturday, January 17th, Royal Genovian polo match. Could there be a more boring sport than polo? She really was so good in it, yes. I mean, besides golf, I don't think there's a more boring sport. Furthermore, I do not think it's very good for horses. Swinging mallets that close to their heads, it's like Silver, that Lone Ranger's horse. The Lone Ranger keeps shooting off guns next to Silver's ears, and it's no wonder the poor thing kept rearing its head. Also, Renee isn't too competitive with Prince William or anything. Renee keeps riding off in front of the poor guy and stealing the ball in front of him, every chance he gets. And they're supposed to be on the same team. I swear, if Renee's team wins and he pulls a Mia Hamm and swings his shirt around over his head, I will know that he's doing this just for the benefit of the hordes of Prince William fans who are here, which I guess is understandable. It probably is disconcerting to him that Wills is so much more popular than he is, and Renee does have pretty impressive pecs. If only all those girls knew about the Enrique Iglesias lip-syncing he does. 3 days, 17 hours, and 6 minutes until I see Michael again. Talk about impressive pecs. Saturday, January 17th, 11 p.m. Royal Genovian Bedchamber. Grandmere so needs to get a life. Tonight was the farewell ball, you know, to like celebrate the end of my first official trip to Genovia and my capacity as the heir to the throne. Yeah, anyway, Grandmare's been going on and on about this ball for weeks, like it's going to be my big chance to redeem myself for the whole parking meter thing. Not to mention the fact that Prince William was going to be there. In fact, between that and the whole not thinking Michael is a suitable consort material, she's been laying it on really thick. I fully blame her for my zit, even though it's gone now thanks to the miracle of modern dermatology, but still, between the pressures of Grandmere that she's been putting on me, plus the anxiety of knowing that my boyfriend might be at this very moment taking surf lessons from some zip-free Kate Bosworth type, it's a wonder that my complexion doesn't resemble that guy that they keep locked in the basement in the movie Goonies. Whatever. So Grandmere makes this big deal out of my hair growing out, becoming a triangle shape again. Who cares? Boys are supposed to like girls with long hair better than girls with short hair anyway. I read that in French Cosmo. She thinks she's got to make a big deal out of my fingernails. Okay, so in spite of the whole New Year's resolution thing, I have still kept biting them. So sue me. The man is keeping me down. And she's making this whole big deal about what I'm going to say to Prince William. And then, after all this, we get to the stupid ball, and I walk up to William, who, will I admit, although my heart does still belong to Michael, William was looking pretty nice and very studsy in a tux. I'm still all set to go, oh, it's very nice to meet you, Prince William. But it was like at the very last second, I forgot who I was talking to because he turned those blue eyes on me like a pair of keel lights. And I totally froze up exactly the way I did that time that Josh Richter smiled at me in Bigelow's drugstore. Seriously, like I couldn't even remember where I was or what I was doing there. And I was just looking to those blue eyes going inside my head. Oh my God, they're the color of the sea outside the window of my Royal Genovian bedchamber. And then Prince William was going, it was very nice to meet you, and shaking my hand, and I just kept staring at him. And even though I do not like him in that way, I am so totally in love with my boyfriend, but like, I guess the thing is with the guy that he has this whole charisma thing going on, kind of like Bill Clinton, although I've never met him. I have read that he has a lot of charisma. Anyway,
That was it. And there was this extent of my interaction with Prince William of England, and he turned around to answer someone's question about a thoroughbred horse racing, and I was like, oh look, baked mushroom caps, to cover my excruciatingly mortification. And then I went on chasing after the footman who was passing around, and like, that's it, that's all, that was the end. Needless to say, I did not get Prince William's email address, and Tina's just gonna have to learn to live with the disappointment of that. Oh, but my evening did not end there. No, not at all. No. Little did I know that there was much, much more to come in the form of Granmere shoving me at Prince Rene all night, so that two of us could dance in front of the Newsweek reporter who's in Genovia to do a story on our country's transition to the euro. She swore that this was the only reason for the photo op. But then, while we were dancing, which, by the way, I'm horrible at dancing, I can box step if I look down the whole time, but counting inside my head, I don't know, that's about it. Aside from slow dancing, but guess what? They don't do slow dances in Genovia, at least not in the palace anyway. I saw Granmere totally going around and pointing us out to people, and it was so totally obvious that she was saying crazy things. You don't even have to be a lip reader to know that she was going, aren't they the loveliest couple? Ew, couple? So then when the dance was over, just in case Granmere was getting any ideas, I went right up to her and I was all, Granmere, I am willing to cool it with the calling Michael stuff, but that does not mean that I'm going to start going out with Prince Rene, who, by the way, asked me if I wanted to step outside on the terrazzano and have a smoke. I, of course, told him that I do not smoke and that he shouldn't either, because tobacco is responsible for 500,000 deaths a year in the United States alone. But I'm pretty sure he just laughed at me, all Jane Spader from Pretty and Pinkishly. So then I told him not to get any big ideas and that I already have a boyfriend, and maybe he didn't see the movie of my life, but I fully know how to handle guys who are only in it for my crown jewels. So then Renee said that I was adorable, and I said, oh, for God's sake, cut the Enrique Iglesias act. And then my dad came up and asked me if I'd seen the Prime Minister of Greece, and I said, Dad, I think Granmere is trying to fix me up with Renee. And then my dad got all tight-lipped, and he looked and took Granmere aside and had a word with her. Yeah, while Prince Rene slunk off to go make out with one of the Hilton sisters. Afterwards, Granmere came up to me and told me not to be so ridiculous, and that she merely wanted Prince Rene and I to dance together so that it was a nice photo op for Newsweek, and that maybe if they ran a story on us, it would attract more tourists. To which I replied, in light of our crumbling infrastructure, more tourists is exactly what this country does not need. I suppose that if my palace had been bought out from under me by some shoe designer, I would be pretty desperate too, but I would not hit on a girl who had the weight of an entire populace on her shoulders and happens to already have a boyfriend besides. On the bright side, if Newsweek does run the photo, maybe Michael will get all jealous of Renee, the way that Mr. Rochester did of that St. John guy, and then maybe he'll boss me around some more. 2 days, 8 hours, and 10 minutes until I see Michael again. I cannot wait. Mia's ridiculous, you guys. I saw you waving. Is that because you wanted to tell your Bill Clinton story?
Yes.
So I will give you a preface to this. My mother has met Bill Clinton, and she has a story that she loves to tell about meeting Bill Clinton.
Yes.
Whatever you think of him for various reasons, whether political or his untoward actions aside, the story is pretty funny. So go ahead.
So I had met or was doing business with a guy that was a Democratic operative.
Mm-hmm.
And
What year was this?
90s.
Okay,
when he
in the
was
90s.
president.
Oh, while he was president.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That makes sense
And
for the story.
he was in charge of the press corps cars and getting people to drive the press to meet on the tarmac and take pictures when Bill Clinton came off the presidential Air Force One.
That makes sense.
So he said, hey, you want to drive one of the cars? I'm like, yeah.
You drove? I didn't know that.
No.
Oh.
So they put my name in to drive and they declined, even though I've only gotten 2 tickets in my entire life.
She does have a great driving record, and she
Yeah.
is a very, very good
Yeah.
driver. I
Yeah.
will say, a lot of
But
boomer women are
they-
not good drivers. Mom is a good driver.
Yeah, they thought maybe it should be a man driving a car in case it was an emergency and they had to drive fast or whatever. He said, but I can get you on the tarmac to meet him and shake hands.
Sure.
So I said, sure. So I got all dressed and we're driving up from Orange County to LAX. And he said, now, Dr. Pinsanti, people get nervous when they meet famous people. I said, I'm not going to get nervous. I have a national television show that's seen on 60 satellites all over the world. Why would I get nervous?
And also, what you guys don't know is my mother is the quintessential extrovert. She's recharged by people looking at her and loving her, unlike the rest of us who are like hiding in a hole.
Yeah.
So she loves people.
So we go up and it's my turn, and he is very tall.
Yeah,
And
taller than Secret Husband.
way taller than Secret.
Really?
I was in heels and I had to bend back my neck.
Well, you're very short.
Yeah, but he's tall. He's
Really, Jen? I didn't know that.
6'4" to 6'5".
Oh, he's way taller than Secret
Yeah,
Husband. Okay.
He's very tall.
Secret Husband's 6'2", and he feels tall.
Oh, he's taller than Secret Husband. And very,
He's very pale.
very pale.
Oh, so Secret
Like
Husband.
very
Paler than
Secret Husband.
Paler than your husband, Ben?
About the same.
Okay. My stepdad was an extremely pale individual to the point where I used to say he was practically translucent because he was so white.
He had that red head.
Even though he
white
wasn't a
skin.
redhead.
Yeah. He had the skin of a redhead.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we go to shake hands, and the gentleman who brought me said, President Clinton, I would like you to meet Dr. Helen Pinsanti. And I reached out my hand and said, nice to meet you, Dr. Clinton.
I thought you said Dr. President. Oh, that's funny. Your husband's 6'6". Oh, yeah. Yes, so she did end up getting nervous in the end.
I just called him doctor instead
Yeah,
of Mr.
but that's because you lost
President
control
Clinton.
of your,
I
like...
lost it,
you did end up getting nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, Roxy, it's relative, right? Did you feel like he had the charisma that everyone says he has?
Oh, he was very charming.
Very charming.
He laughed at my...
Yeah, I'm
know,
sure
like,
he wasn't bothered.
Said well, in essence, he is a doctor, lawyer.
That's
JD,
true.
You know.
Yes, he does have a Juris Doctor.
Jurisdiction doctor.
Yeah. That's
but
true.
He was very nice, and he was you could tell he had
Je ne sais quoi.
the it factor.
Yeah.
And he was so tall, and he gave off, and I mean, he was somebody.
Sure, he was somebody.
Yeah.
Whatever you think of him, he definitely was somebody.
Yeah.
I will answer these questions real quick before we keep reading. We are reading the 4th installation of the Princess Diaries. It's called Princess in Waiting. We have been working our way through that series. And Megan, you don't have to be sorry because I don't think we've actually ever mentioned it on here. So, yes, my mother did have a television show for many years of my life. It was called Doctor to Doctor. So it was a
20
medical TV show where she interviewed other doctors about up and coming health things and stuff like that. And most of it was in the natural realm, which is what her specialty is because she's really good at that. And also making sure that people aren't using synthetic
Poison.
things that are basically poison for you, you know. It is very cool. She was on the forefront of natural hormones and medicine before it was even made popular by, you guys remember when Suzanne Summers made it like a really big thing, RIP to
was
Suzanne
15
Summers.
years
That was
later.
later after Mom did it. Thank goodness Suzanne Summers made it
Yes.
as popular
I was
as
happy.
what she did was great for people. You do have to have a hefty
She's
degree of charisma
dead.
to be president. She is, but not because of that.
And I'm alive.
Oh, yes, of course, you are alive, very alive. But my mom was one of her greatest accomplishments, I think, in my perspective, is that she was guiding people to not use
an
synthetics as an activist early on because those synthetic things can be so detrimental to people.
And the other doctors were saying, don't say that, they'll take your license away.
Yeah, and she
I
didn't care, and she did it anyway. So speaking out is important despite, possible repercussions.
And I was on Sirius XM radio for 20 years.
That's right, and she was on Sirius XM radio for 20 years. Did you make her hair into that alfalfa point? That's very cute. I just looked over, and the baby has a little alfalfa sprout on the top. Well, I can't see it because I'm on the...
Her first hair, my first hairstyle.
That's really funny looking. It's adorable, actually. I just looked over, and there's like...
Put a little bow in it.
We have bows. We can put a little bow in it. That's very funny. So those are the answers to those questions there, and we will keep reading and see what other shenanigans Mia gets up to. Will Mia ever make it back to America? Right now, it doesn't feel like it, but we'll see. Okay. Wait, Sirius FM just started. Can't be wrong. No, Sirius XM.
I was on when it was XM, and then they merged to Sirius XM. That's how long
Yeah.
I've been on.
Yeah, it was a
radio.
long time ago.
I was on XM, then they
Wasn't
merged,
it? It was from when I was in high school, right?
like 85.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
XM. when XM and Sirius were two different companies, and then they said, why are we fighting? Let's become one. And they became Sirius XM, so we just went with them and became Sirius XM. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know anything about that.
Healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yeah, all right. Well, there's the answer. Oh, yeah, no, totally, Jen. It makes you feel old, right? That's what you were insinuating, and I understand, yes. It just, they're giving it away with every new car, right? Yeah. Yes, we have a lot of info. Yes, yes. When mom comes, we get lots of good info. I guess the moral of today's story is don't take synthetic hormones. Fight the man. Okay, let's read. Monday, January 19th, 3 p.m., Genovian time, Royal Genovian jet, 35,000 feet in the air. Oh, I spoke too soon. I said I didn't know if she was going to make it back to America, and she's flying back right now. Okay. I can't believe that. A, my dad is staying in Genovia in order to resolve the parking crisis rather than coming back to New York with me. And B, he actually believed Grammere when she said that due to my poor performance in Genovia that my princess lessons needed to continue. And C, not to mention Rommel, she is coming back to New York with me. It is not fair. I held up my part of the agreement. I went to every single princess lesson that Grammere gave last fall. I passed algebra. I gave my stupid address to the Genovian people. Grammere says that in spite of what I might think, I still have a lot to learn about governance, especially except that she is so wrong. I know she's only coming back to New York with me so that she can go on torturing me. It's kind of like her hobby now. In fact, for all I know, this might even be her gift, her God-given talent. At least she's lucky enough to have a talent, but it's still not fair. And yes, before I left, my dad did slip me 100 euros and told me that if I didn't make a fuss about Grammere, he'd make it up to me someday. But there's nothing he can do to make this up to me. No, nothing. He says that she's just a harmless old lady and that I should try to enjoy her while I can because someday she won't be with us anymore. And I just looked at him like he was crazy. Even he couldn't keep a straight face. He just went, okay, I'll donate $200 a day to that great Greenpeace thing if you keep her out of my hair. Which is funny, because of course my dad hasn't got any hair, I mean. That is double the amount that he was already donating in my name to my favorite organization, and I sincerely hope that Greenpeace appreciates the supreme sacrifice that I am making on their case. So, Grammere is coming back to New York with me and dragging a cowering Rommel along with her, just when his fur's starting to grow back too. The poor thing. I told my dad that I'd put up with the whole princess lessons thing again this semester, but that he better get one thing straight with Grammere beforehand, and that is, number one, I have a serious boyfriend. Grammere had better not try to sabotage this or think that she's trying to fix me up with any more Prince Renees. I do not care how many titles this guy has. My heart belongs to Michael Moscovitz Esquire. My dad said he'll see what he can do, but I don't know how much he was actually paying attention since Miss Czech Republic was hanging around, twirling her sash kind of impatiently. Anyway, a little while ago, I told Grammere myself that she better watch it where Michael is concerned. I don't want to hear anything more about how I'm too young to be in love, I said to her over lunch. Poached salmon for Grammere, 3-bean salad for me. And it was served by the Royal Genovian flight attendant. I'm old enough to know my own heart, and that means I'm old enough to give my heart away if I choose to. And Grammere said something about how then I should get ready for some heartburn, but I ignored her. Just because her romantic life since Grandpere died has been less than satisfactory, it's no reason for her to be so cynical about my life. I mean, it's just what she gets for going out with media moguls and dictators and stuff like that. Michael and I, on the other hand, are going to have a great love, just like Jane and Mr. Rochester, or Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. That did not age well.
Poor thing.
It's so sad. But when this happened, we didn't know that was going to happen. When she wrote this, oops. Or at least we will if we ever get to actually go on a date. 1 day and 14 hours until I see Michael again. All right, well, we have to pause there because the next section, although those sections were all short, this next section is longer than we have left. So we'll pause there for today. But I guess in what we read tomorrow, Mia will get back to Michael, or back to the US at least, and we'll see if they ever actually get to go on a date, because the next chapter is quite long, so we'll see. All right, so the name of the game for me today is going through all of as many DMs as I can on Patreon. So if you have one outstanding to me, I'll be going through those. And the second thing is shipping all of the Roll for Slimes that we made last night, more grab bags, more Slime of the Months, and so on and so forth. Secret Baby and I will be packing orders all day today. And that is the whole kit and caboodle. Do you have anything else to
Not
say?
if I can help it.
Oh, well, I thought you were leaving at 10 for go get your car.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you all tomorrow for the return to the United States and the return to Michael. Have a great day, guys.